Hi everybody. Today we're going to be working on lesson 7, which was posted a little earlier today, but it was brought to my attention that there was no sound. So here I am re-recording the lesson for today, and I will be re-recording all of the lessons for the rest of the week. So in the future, I will learn from my mistake and make sure my microphone is turned on. So adding and subtracting expressions. I can simplify polynomials by combining like terms, and there are 2 examples shown below. But let's go through some. So problem number 1, we have 4p plus 2 plus p minus 9, and we have parentheses. In order to combine our 2 binomials together, we first need to eliminate the parentheses by using the distributive property. Since there's nothing to distribute, we need to put our 1's in. So I'm going to start by putting in a 1 in front of this first set. 1 times 4p is 4p. 1 times 2 is 2. I'm now going to do the same thing to the second set. So I'm going to put my 1 in. So it's a positive 1 times p, which is a positive 1p. And 1 times negative 9 is a negative 9. Anything times a positive 1, you're going to get back the same thing because anything times 1 is itself. Now that I've eliminated the parentheses, I now can go ahead and combine like terms. So 4p plus 1p is my 5p. And then my constants 2 and negative 9 will give me a negative 7. So I now have 5p minus 7. Problem number 2. Again, I have to eliminate those parentheses by using the distributive property. I'm going to put in my 1. 1 times 2x squared is 2x squared. 1 times 5x is 5x. 1 times 7 is 7. Again, on my second set, put in my 1. 1 times 3x squared is 3x squared. 1 times negative 4x is negative 4x, and 1 times negative 1 is still just a negative 1. So again, since I multiplied the first trinomial and the second trinomial by 1's, a positive 1, nothing changed as far as the signs or the values of the numbers. And now I'm going to combine like terms. So 2x squared plus 3x squared. Remember, in order to combine like terms, they have to have the same variable and the same exponent. I'm going to add those. That gives me 5x squared. Notice I didn't use the exponent. I didn't square the 2, I didn't square the 3, nor did I square the 5. The exponent is on the x, and we do not know the value of x, so it stays as just as an x squared. We then take the 5x and the negative 4x, which gives me a positive 1x, or just x. And then positive 7 and a negative 1, give me positive 6. So my final answer is a trinomial, 5x squared plus x plus 6. And those of you that have the 1 as a coefficient in front of that middle x, that's fine also. But the test this week, and for some of you next week, though, you will not see the 1 in the multiple choice choices. I'm going to skip 3 and 4 because those have the plus signs as well. I want to go to number 4, and you'll notice that it's now a trinomial minus a trinomial. We're still going to go about this the same way by putting in the 1's and distributing. But what's this minus or negative that you want to be careful about? So I'm going to multiply the first set by a positive 1x squared. I'm sorry, by a positive 1. I was distracted by my dog. He was trying to get into the room. 1 times 4x squared is 4x squared. 1 times 2x is 2x. 1 times 4 is 4. So everything stayed the same in the first set because you're multiplying by a positive 1. It's the second set that you have to be extra careful about. Make sure you're using your calculator or your tic-tac-toe board. Negative 1 times 3. Negative times a positive is a negative, and 1 times 3 is 3. So it's a negative 3x squared. Negative 1 times a negative x, or a negative 1x. Negative times a negative is a positive. 1 times 1 is 1. So now it's a positive 1x. Negative 1 times a positive 6 is a negative 6, so I'm going to write minus 6. So notice that the negative that was in front of the second set of parentheses changed your positive 3 to a negative 3, your negative x to a positive x, and your positive 6 to a negative 6. So just like in I believe it was lesson 2 when we first used the distributive property, when you have a negative in front, it means to take the opposite of everything on the inside of those parentheses. Or you can use your calculator to do each multiplication step. I'm now going to combine my 4x squared minus my 3x squared, which gives me 1x squared, or just x squared. 2x plus 1x is a positive 3x. Plus 4 minus 6. Signs are different. I subtract or just do 4 minus 6 in the calculator, and you should get a negative 2. So I'm going to put down a minus 2. So my answer is a trinomial, x squared plus 3x minus 2. Problem number 5. I'm going to hold off. I'm going to do 6 and I'll come back. So problem number 6, same thing, put in the ones, distribute. So if you want to pause the video and try this and then hit play to see if you get it right, because it's the same as what I just did in number 4, you're subtracting. So I'm going to multiply my first polynomial by 1. So I have 3x squared minus 5x plus 2. Nothing changes because I multiplied by a positive 1. In my second set, I'm multiplying by a negative. So my positive 5 now becomes a negative 5x squared. My negative x now becomes a positive x. And my positive 3 now becomes a negative 3. So again, that minus sign or negative 1 changes everyone to their opposite. Or in the calculator, do negative 1 times 5, negative 1 times negative 1, negative 1 times 3, and let the calculator produce the sign for you. Combine like terms. 3x squared minus 5x squared is a negative 2x squared. Again, that squared is on the x. Negative 5x and a positive 1x is a negative 4x. And a positive 2 and a negative 3 is a negative 1. So my final answer is negative 2x squared minus 4x minus 1. Problem number 5 and 7, I wanted to save those for last because it's written in words. Subtract 8x plus 10 from 14x plus 15. So we are subtracting our two binomials. So I'm going to start by putting a subtraction sign. And we're subtracting the 8x plus 10, that whole binomial, from 14x plus 15. Because I'm subtracting the 8x plus 10 from the 14x plus 15, the 14x plus 15 needs to be written down first, because I want to subtract the 8x plus 10 from that. Notice I have my binomials in parentheses because I don't want to just subtract the 8x. I want to subtract the 8x plus 10, that whole binomial, from the 14x plus 15. Right above the word from, I want you to put an arrow above the word from and a star and write switch. From is a switch word. So whenever you see the word from, whatever comes after the word from is going to be written down first. Now that I have my problem set up in the proper order with parentheses, I'm now going to do like I did on all the other questions in today's lesson and put my ones in. When I multiply my first binomial by a positive 1, nothing changes. When I multiply my second binomial by a negative 1, the signs change. And now I combine like terms. So 14x minus 8x is a positive 6x. 15 minus 10 is a positive 5. Okay? And then number 7, you would set it up the same way. We want to subtract the 9x plus 12 from the 10x plus 19. So we are subtracting, and I want to be sure to put the 10x plus 19 first in parentheses because I'm subtracting the 9x plus 12 from the 10x plus 19. Now I'm going to put my ones in and distribute. So 1 times 10x is 10x. 1 times 19 is 19. Distribute the negative 1. Negative 1 times 9, or change 9 to its opposite. Negative 1 times 12, or change 12 to its opposite. And then combine like terms. So 10x minus 9x is 1x, or just x. 19 minus 12 is a positive 7. And again, if this is multiple choice, you're not going to see the 1 there in front of the x as a coefficient. I hope this video makes more sense now that the volume works. Hopefully it is working. I did skip 3 and 4, but they're not in the Google form. The try these we will do in class together. So for now, lesson 7 homework begins on the bottom of page 91. I did select a few of those for the Google form. It does carry over to page 92 as well, some multiple choice. So I selected a few from page 91 and 92. Make sure you show all work in your workbook before selecting your answer. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Good luck.